What was the first person you met when you got into the UFC that you were like, oh fuck, you were really starstruck almost?
Well, so when you do contender series, they make you know you are not in the UFC. You are a maggot. You might as well
You're
be
fighting for a contract.
you might as well be a random off the street for how much we care about you. That's what they make you feel like in contender series. You're not part of the UFC, so you don't get to use the PI, the performance, even though it's right there in Vegas, and you're like next door doing shit, and you can't go in there. You have to be a contracted UFC fighter. And when I like even the clothes they give you, you don't get any of the good like Venom or Reebok shit or
prison
anything.
brains.
You just get like it's like Kmart shit with like Dana White. Not Kmart shit's bad, but it's like very basic stuff with just the printing on it. But the day I won the contract and I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to go use the PI. I'm a contracted fighter now. And I walked in and they were like, actually genuinely treat you fucking unbelievably well. Like Forrest Griffin gave me
I was going to say, did you meet Forrest?
Yeah, Forrest gave me a tour because I have this great photo of me and Forrest when I was about 14. He came and did a seminar in Melbourne and I was there and it's like me and Forrest and I was like young kid, fresh faced. And I sent it to Forrest. So he came and did the tour with us. And it's like, all right, you check in here. If you need to book physio or anything, this is the person who looks after you. You can book all of your stuff straight through here. Here's the ice bath, sauna, underwater treadmill. Here's the full gym. Here's this. You get meal tickets when you're a fighter, so you eat here for free. Here's a smoothie bar.
Why doesn't every fucking upcoming fighter move to Vegas to live through the PI?
Yeah, well, fuck that. A lot of people do now. And I think I'm going to go over for a couple of months, maybe middle of this year.
You'd be fucking stupid not to, dude. Just to get your body right, the facilities they have, it would cost you like 5-6 digits to live that lifestyle here.
Oh, no doubt. You're 100% right. But then I was like, yeah, fuck. So I went in, I got my smoothie, got my food, did my workout, and then we were in the change rooms having a shower. And me and my brother and my homie Jacob walked in, and it's fucking... We walk into the change rooms, and it's fucking Francis Ngannou, Sean Strickland, and Rafael Asuncao sitting in the change room. And I walk in, and I'm like, hey, what's up, boys? And Sean is like the most authentic cunt ever.
Don't get me started on Sean Strickland, bro. I love him.
Sean is like the exact same. Like the guy on TV in the press conference and stuff, that's him. First thing he says to me, he's like, oh, you fought last night? I'm like, yeah. He's like, how'd you go? I'm like, oh, yeah, I won, but I wasn't super happy with it. Like being like a bit negative. And he just 100% put it in right. He's like, did you win? I was like, yeah. He's like, did you get a contract? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, shut the fuck up. He's like, what are you complaining about, brother? And I'm like, and it just that I just thought he's fucking absolutely right. Like, what am I? Because I was a bit down that I didn't like showcase more striking or whatever. And then I'm like,
you won the fight.
I'm like, what the fuck am I talking? I just won a contract. Like, it's my lifelong dream, and I've achieved it through that fight. Do not look on that fight in a negative light. And he just said that, and then I remember my brother hearing Ben talk to Francis out of the corner of my eye, and Ben's like, man, you are so much bigger in real life than you look on TV. And Francis was like smiling. He was like, oh, really? He's like, most people say I look smaller in real life than on TV. And like, I'm looking at Francis, and this motherfucker is so big.
His story as well, dude.
He's so big. His head's fucking massive. His arms, his fists. And he's just one of the nicest guys ever. And then even Rafael Asuncao. And we just sat there talking shit to him for a little bit. And that's when... And then I went out the front, and like Michael Chiesa and Dan Ige were there.
Oh my God. It's just like fucking... Just one after the other.
Yeah, and Michael Chiesa and Dan Ige. And this is where sometimes you have to pinch yourself. Because I've always believed I was going to be a UFC fighter. But... You know, there's a lot of water goes under the bridge before you get there. And Michael Chiesa's talking to me, and he said, you were my best pick of the night. Like, you did really well.
The commentators actually fucking really did you justice that night. Like, the commentators...
Laura Sanko was...
Wasn't that her debut?
Yeah, she's brilliant. Laura Sanko... Well, I don't think it was her debut for Contender Series.
Are you sure?
It might have been.
No, you're right. You're right. She was doing Contender Series, but she made her debut shortly after for the UFC.
She is like...
Amazing.
The thing is like sometimes, you know, you get token females get put into roles that they're probably not in sports, like commentators who maybe don't really who don't understand a sport or whatever.
Laura's phenomenal.
It couldn't be more opposite with Laura. She's out of all the commentators, apart from maybe Dom Cruise, she's the most well researched. She does the most background stuff on everyone. She understands the game really well, and she really tries to.
She tries hard.
She tries to get across to the average punter the more technical side of what we're doing.
That's from the early prelims to the main event. Like, she does everyone justice.
Yeah.
And when she did her debut for the actual, I think she made a main event debut or a fight night debut. I think it was a main event debut. I can't remember who it was. But I even made I never tweet anything. I made an Instagram post. I was like, fuck, Laura's doing so good. Because Dominic Cruz, for me, commentary-wise, he's good. But I feel like him and certain commentators rub up against each other a lot, and it's annoying to listen to sometimes.
Yeah, I really like Dom, but I understand listening. He can be hard to listen to.
But for you, it'd be amazing.
Well, so like when I spoke to Dom, when they do the pre-fight interviews, right? When I spoke to Dom for the Perth fight, he was like listening to me talk about leg kicks. He was like he was studying. He was listening.
He's a fucking genius.
And then he gave me like so much respect about. He'd watched my fights. He spoke about what I was going to do.
For you?
Yeah, 100%. Like Dom Cruise. I used to sneak into the Max to watch Dom Cruise fight Uriah Faber. You know what I mean? Like when I was a teenager, and he's great. But I get for the average punter how he can be a little bit like